Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the numerology and the energy for the month of January 2022 for all life path numbers. It feels a bit surreal that we're already stepping into 2022, so Happy New Year! Before we get into the reading, I do want to mention that this, of course, is a general reading. If you're interested in a personalized reading, please book some time with me. My information is in the description box below. So, 2022 is a 6 universal cycle, and it's much different energy than the fast-paced, sort of frenetic, transformative, expansive, big energy of the 5 cycle of 2021. So I highly recommend, if you haven't already, listening to your 2022 forecast for your personal life path number to gain a better understanding of this 6 universal year-long cycle that we're all stepping into, because it's going to be a powerful year. For January specifically, we are stepping into a 7 universal cycle for the month. So collectively, we will all feel this energy in some way. So for those that are new to my channel, please understand that first and foremost, I'll go over the energy for the collective, and this includes you. And then I dive more specifically into the individual life path energy for the month. So it all works in tandem. So I highly suggest just getting cozy and listening to the entire video. So the 7 energy throughout January can sort of have us focusing more on our holistic health, body, mind, and spirit. What are we feeding our own life force? This isn't only referring to, of course, nutrients for the physical body, but what are we ingesting into our mind and our spirit as well? Who and what are we surrounding ourselves with? If the energy we are inviting in, body, mind, spirit, is more toxic than healthy, chaotic rather than soothing, aggressive over calm, and overall negative over positive, then that is the fuel that the entire vehicle and our presence, body, mind, spirit, is running on. So think about how that will affect how you feel, how you treat others, how you treat yourself, and your overall outlook on life. Under this 7 energy, we may find that the universe presents us with some kind of roadblock to sort of force us to put the brakes on, to take a closer look at where it is we can make some adjustments to how we treat ourselves, all of ourselves, right? Like, again, holistically, body, mind, spirit. Perhaps we need to distance ourselves from certain relationships, to take a break from the news, social media, to spend more quality time in solitude and with the people whose cups are always full and don't expect us to deplete our own in order to fill theirs up. So perhaps there is a call to get reconnected this month to our own spiritual side and spend more time connecting with Mother Earth and allow her healing energies to rejuvenate our spirit. This month is the perfect time to do a major check-in and do any maintenance work that we have been neglecting on ourselves so that we don't get to the point of needing full-on repair. Listen to your body this month and don't subscribe to any level of guilt or shame when it comes to your self-care and taking the time for that self-care, whatever that looks like for you. The world will be there when you reemerge, right? This 7 cycle encourages us to retreat, to reflect, to heal, and to focus on our own holistic health. Under this influence, this is not a time to be impulsive, to take big risks, if you can avoid it. Now, of course, life happens, right? Sometimes we have to make those big decisions, take those big risks, regardless of what the astrology, the numerology, or the energy sort of dictates. And so, of course, follow your heart, follow your circumstances, use your logic, whatever. Do what you need to do. But if you can avoid it, this is going to be a time, again, just think of like sinking into the stillness, doing things a little bit more organically, taking your time, taking time for solitude, thinking things through. 7 energy is very, very, very connected to the metaphysical, but also a very practical energy. It's also very connected to the earth. And so there is practicality around this where there's not a whole lot of impulsivity at times. It's more reflective. It kind of takes its time. It wants to make sure that even though it's the bridge between the metaphysical and the physical, what it's bringing into the physical, that energy wants to make certain that it's something that is worth bringing into the physical. So again, just take your time under this energy. You don't have to be impulsive. Just make sure that what you're manifesting, what you're bringing in is what you want to bring in. This is an energy where little effort is going to be required for things to come to completion now. You've already done the hard work, the heavy lifting, the input, all of those things. And so now it's going to be a time for, again, sort of sinking into receptivity mode and being open to receiving the rewards, the gifts, the fruition of, the completion, the tangibles of what it is you've been working so hard towards, which is really kind of beautiful because it's like if you've really, if 2021 was a tumultuous year and you had to put a lot of effort into a lot of things and whatnot, this month is really saying, let's capture those rewards. Let's let the rewards come to us. Think of like the spider who's built its web and now it's allowing its nutrients to come to it. It's not seeking it out. That's really kind of like the 7 energy for this month. I believe in astrology, there's several planets that are retrograde. And so this is a time for, again, reflections, receptivity, allowing the nutrients to come to you holistically, body, mind, spirit. And you get to decide whether you're going to eat that nutrients or not, right? Body, mind, spirit. So again, this is going to be a time for and a period for sort of watching and waiting and let this cycle work for you. This is a lovely time for vacations, for staycations, for writing that book that you've always wanted to write, for taking a class that sort of expands the mind, especially if it's anything to do with like theology, religion, metaphysics, mystical teachings, yoga, astrology, numerology, and so on. So things that are sort of not necessarily taboo, but sort of outside the mind that would allow you to expand the mind in a way. This is a great energy for really diving into those sort of classes and taking some kind of maybe lecture or workshop or something like that where you're not expending a lot of energy per se, but you're expanding the mind and expanding the spirit, right? With that little physical effort. So listen to your own internal promptings at this time and pay extra attention to your dreams, your visions, your intuition now. Again, this is very feminine, divine feminine energy, receptivity, stillness, reflection, sinking into, again, the stillness. Where is your soul gently leading you now? This isn't about forcing. This isn't about aggression. This isn't about, again, sort of that more aggressive action of the masculine energy. This is very receptive, very still, very organic and soft energy. So again, where is your soul gently leading you now? The messages can come in as a whisper, but they can also feel like a lightning bolt when you receive it and when you hear it. So overall, with this 7 illumination, do not fight the urge for rest, rejuvenation, and inner reflection. Much can be learned and discovered during this quieter, softer cycle if we listen. You can get answers to some really big questions during this cycle, but you have to be open, you have to be receptive. So be receptive to what the universe is trying to show you now through the stillness. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the individual life path number. Life path number 4. So I pulled an animal spirit card for us and we got elephant spirit. And elephant's message is learn from the past. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time diving into this because the energy of this month does that for us. So this all ties in together. So I think it's going to be really important to remember that your past experiences, the wisdom that you've extracted from those experiences are going to be coming in front row and center, right? Needing to be utilized, like basically saying that the experiences that you've had in the past, no matter how difficult, served a purpose, and you're stepping into a time where you're going to be using that wisdom. The past we're not meant to live there and stay there, but we can absolutely take with us the wisdom from those experiences, from what we learn from those past experiences, so that we don't repeat them, right? Or that, again, so that we can save ourselves the steps of not living through them again, right? So elephant spirit will definitely be coming through the month of January for us, just looking at the energy ahead. So just remember, as things show up for you in January, obviously follow your intuition, follow your heart, follow the reality of the situation, right? Of what is presented to you in that moment, but also pull from the well of wisdom that you have accumulated through your years on this journey, right? Because it's going to be valuable. So what's interesting is when I look at the energy for January for us all, and of course I'm in Life Path 4 as well, so I'm right there with you. It's interesting because there's really no action items here. It's just a lot of reflection, going within, seeing things from a different perspective, pulling from inner strength to be able to do that, and making decisions. Now that's an action item that I do see coming in, but I also see us like at an impasse. And so let me dive into it. So at the beginning of the month, there's definitely this very potent energy of the answers that we're seeking around this time will not be found externally. They will 100% be found internally. The answers that we seek are going to be found within at this time. And so we know what to do. We know what's being asked of us. We might not fully understand it, but we can feel it. We can sort of see it with our third eye, right? Like the next sort of step, what we need to do. We already know, right? A lot of times the logical mind will talk us out of it or give us other stories to contemplate or think about. But reality is there's always that inner fire that's burning that is leading us, that is showing us the way. And sometimes it takes us a while to get there to where we fully trust it. But I feel like in January, beginning of January, there's going to be just sort of this knowing that is coming in from a higher source, a higher consciousness, our higher consciousness, that's saying, the way forward. So follow that light, follow that knowing, because it's going to take you to where the next stop is on your destination, or to your destination. But it's not going to be found externally to you. So this isn't one of those times where it's like, oh, call a friend, find out what I should do. This is the time where it's like, follow your inner knowing, your inner light, because that is going to take you down the most direct, most authentic path to the next stop. Anything outside of that is going to just convolute the situation, right? Like cloud your judgment. So there's really a deep call here for solitude, for sinking into sort of receptivity to receive those messages from your higher consciousness, from source, from universe, to get a greater understanding of your next move. But again, I don't get the feeling that we're meant to take action on whatever this is. I just feel like any clarity that comes in is going to be coming in from within. Right? We might see the guideposts externally, but what to do with those guideposts, how to decipher them, how to understand those guideposts is going to come from the internal. So there's a lot here around solitude, maybe doing walking meditations, meditating, yoga, anything that'll quiet the mind enough for you to sink into your higher consciousness, because that's the light you need to follow now. At least, again, as you sit in reflective mode and contemplation. Mid-month, we definitely have, now this could be something where we gain a new perspective in some way. I don't necessarily feel like this is going to come externally, although a lot of times that's where things do come, right? That's where the sparks come, the lightning bolts, right? To like bring our awareness to something maybe we weren't seeing, maybe because we had tunnel vision or we had the blinders on, right? I feel like the blinders mid-month are coming off, and it's going to become very, very clear what we need to do next. And I feel like it's not necessarily going to be an easy decision. I feel like we need to pull from our inner strength from this to be able to make this decision, to do whatever this is, to say yes to whatever this is. And this again is all about inner strength. And so again, I feel like ultimately we know what to do. We know what we need to do next. But in order to do that, we have to pull from our inner strength. We have to be able to trust ourselves that we are making the right decision. Because any decision we make in the moment is the right decision. There's always something to learn from that path, right? There's always something on that path for us. So I do feel like we're going to be getting some new, maybe get a different point of view that will open us up to new ideas, that will open us up to a new path, that to say yes to that path, which we're going to feel so compelled to say yes to that path, we have to pull from our inner strength to do so. So this could be a little bit challenging. I'm not going to lie. It's almost like once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. And so I feel like there's a lot of truth coming in, and personal truth, right? Potentially, right? I mean, not potentially, personal truth coming in, right? But sometimes to follow that personal truth takes a lot of inner strength, because it sometimes goes against the grain. It goes against what people think you should be doing. It goes against, society. It goes against, you name it. So it's not always the easiest path. But I do feel like we will feel so compelled to, it's like, again, once you see it, you can't unsee it. So then you feel compelled to step into that energy, right? And I feel like that's going to take some inner strength to do that. So end of the month is, again, just this energy of sort of feeling like we're at an impasse. The time to make the decision is now. There's no more sort of hemming and hawing. There's no more sort of riding this wave. The wave is now dying. So again, we have to make this decision, whatever this is. And I feel like this month is really helping us to get there. And again, elephant spirit of draw from the past, right? Learn from the past, use that wisdom to make this decision, whatever this is. But I feel like the time to make this decision is going to be now. There's no more moving forward on this path. It's kind of like there's a dead end here, and we have to decide whether to go left or right. And we know which way we really want to go, but we also have the noise in our head about which way we should go, which way would please others, which way would sort of ease any conflict that this taking the other path would create. You see what I'm saying? So again, pulling from the inner strength, following our truth. This feels like a big month. This feels like a big month of decisions of, will we choose something that makes us feel comfortable, or will we choose something that ignites our spirit and brings new experiences and ignites our passion from within and is really our truth? You see what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily going to be an easy decision, because it's really hard to leave the warmth of that cozy blanket, right? Like to leave the warmth of the bed to go out and venture into the unknown. But I feel like that's coming. And so we have to pull from our inner strength. Nobody can make this decision for us. We're the only ones that can do it. But where it's leading us to is something that we will not regret that decision. We just have to find our inner strength to be able to make that decision. Big energies. I feel this so strongly. So yeah, a lot of inner sort of reflection here, going within, following your truth. Even when other people don't understand it, they're not meant to understand it. It's your truth, not theirs. So I do feel like the month leads us into this sort of impasse where we have to make a decision. It's like, maybe we've been, like I said, taking our time. We know we have to do whatever this is, but we've been sort of delaying it. There's no more delaying it. End of the month, I feel like, end of the month into maybe the first week of February, I feel like there's going to come an opportunity where that's it. We have to make this decision, left or right? Yes or no, whatever. And so that can be challenging, but you are fully equipped to be able to do this and to do what's in the best interest of your soul, the experience your soul came here to have, and your environment type thing. So, powerful. All right. Well, so big decisions coming in. the month of January. Also, a lot of sinking into the stillness, listening to and checking in with yourself, trusting yourself, and finding that inner strength to say yes to what your soul wants to say yes to. All right, so I hope this was helpful. Thank you all so much for listening. Take care, fours. Bye for now.